information that can get you and your family through this winter season safely. Tips on travel, home safety, and what to do if you're caught in severe weather. Depend on News 10's exclusive Earthwatch forecast for fast, accurate, reliable winter weather information. And play it safe this winter by picking up your copy of the Earthwatch Winter Survival Guide at your local Key States Jeep dealer.
You're watching
Philadelphia NBC10.
Serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
And Delaware.
now live
This is News 10.
at 11.
From Delaware to Pennsylvania to New Jersey, our first winter storm is making things beautiful, but a little bit dangerous. Good evening, I'm Larry Menti.
And I'm Tracy Davidson.
And our top story on News 10 at 11, Winter Storm Albert is bringing us pre-Christmas snow in the Delaware Valley right now. Take a look at News 10's live picture in Wilmington, Delaware. Steady snow is falling still. Delaware got the first taste of the snowstorm when it arrived in the Philadelphia region this afternoon. And Albert's been at it for a few hours as well in Pleasantville, Atlantic County, New Jersey. Cars in the parking lot are getting a nice coating tonight. And a live look now over I-95 in Delaware County. The streets all over the area are slick and it's slow going everywhere.
And we're getting a lot of reports of minor accidents all over the area. News 10 on the scene of an overturned truck in Vineland, Cumberland County. A man from Bridgeton lost control and flipped his vehicle, but he's all right.
Yeah, but I'm sure.
And in Fairmount Park, icy conditions led to this accident where you can see the smashed front end. Police say the driver broadsided a car that skidded into his path. No one was hurt. PennDOT got the urgent call, though, to San Kelly Drive, and that means snowplows and salt trucks are in overdrive at this hour. News 10 on I-95 between Bridge and Allegheny, where PennDOT brought out the heavy equipment, and you can be sure they will be on the job through the night. News 10's John Balearis has been on the job. He's live outside with the facts and figures on Winter Storm Albert. John?
Yeah, Tracy, we may call Albert perhaps Prince Albert, leaving just enough snow to put us in the holiday spirit and leaving just in time to do some traveling. We have some revised amounts with Albert. That will be coming up shortly. Let's check out what's going to happen with this first winter storm of the season as things are beginning to shape up nicely. The snow will continue tonight between 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. That will be the brunt of the storm. So you can see we kind of moved up the timing on it. And by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, the snow will quit as little Prince Albert begins to move off the coastline. And if you can take a look at the radar now, you can see some of the snow still mainly to the south and east of the city. Some sections of southern New Jersey now picked up over 3 inches of snow. But note the movement. It is moving generally to the east, northeast, towards the ocean. That means north and west of the city, not much, if anything. It's mainly from the city points south and east. And I'll be back in just a little bit to give you the full details, plus the remainder of your holiday weekend forecast coming up. Larry?
All right, John, see you then. News 10 has live team coverage of Winter Storm Albert. News 10's Mike Strug is in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Doug Schimel in Pleasantville, New Jersey, and further south, News 10's Alicia Taylor in Delaware. We begin with News 10's Alicia Taylor live in Wilmington. We'll get to you in a second, Doug.
Well, Larry, it has been snowing here since about 6 o'clock in Wilmington. Take a look at how much snow has fallen on the ground here. About 1 or 2 inches, people are telling me. But since 9 o'clock tonight, a cold purple alert has been in effect here in Wilmington. That's when the wind chill factor and the temperature reaches at least 10 degrees. But that didn't seem to stop many people in Delaware from getting out and about tonight. Stephanie Haynes didn't think she'd be doing this so soon.
It's freezing out here.
And it's supposed to get even colder, down to at least 10 degrees in Wilmington with the wind chill factor. A cold purple alert is in effect there.
This is a mess. This is not a good time.
The salt trucks were out in full force clearing the roads, but that didn't prevent accidents like this one from happening.
The roads aren't real great right now. When I came in here, I was following a couple of trucks. It was pretty slow and slippery, but I think if you take it slow, it'll be all right.
The frigid temperatures didn't stop last-minute shoppers either. Mall parking lots were packed.
This is our third time cleaning it off.
Third time tonight?
Yes, third time tonight.
You've been doing a lot of shopping.
Yes, we have. You should see the trunk.
And then there were those who couldn't help but be outside. Many of the homeless flocked to shelters to get warm.
I'm trying to survive on the streets and everything.
Has the weather been really tough on you?
Yes, it is.
And again, you can see the snow is still falling here. We think probably about 1 to 2 inches so far here in Wilmington. And as we said, there is a cold purple alert in effect. The Salvation Army has opened its emergency shelter, and they expect to have about 50 men, women, and children, homeless men, women, and children in the shelter tonight. Reporting live from Wilmington, I'm Alicia Taylor, News 10.
Alicia, stay safe. Let's go to New Jersey now, where News 10's Doug Schimel is live in Pleasantville, Atlantic County. Doug?
Well, you know, as you can no doubt tell, no amount of snow is going to keep a lot of desperate last-minute shoppers from their mall or, for that matter, anywhere else.
In the snow, Rolls-Royces tend to crash just like any other car. Yes, New Jersey transportation crews were digging into salt piles they hadn't touched since the winter of '96, and they were almost glad to see each other. Unlike motorists who could barely see each other.
I was headed up to Berlin, but it was just too bad, so I'm turning around, going home, staying for the night.
It's cold out here. In Pleasantville, desperation will propel a shopper to a mall regardless of the number of drive wheels that got him there.
I ain't got four-wheel drive. I should have bought its four-wheel drive when I got it.
It was being cheap.
But the most touching reason for a trip to the mall in a snowstorm was from Kathy Lombardo's Cape May clan.
He needed to see Santa Claus tonight. He was crying, so we made the trip.
Well, I guess no matter how honorable the reasons might be for making that trip, they still had to make the trip all the way back to Cape May, which on a night like tonight probably took about 50% longer. Live at Shore Mall in Pleasantville, New Jersey, I'm Doug Schimel, News 10.
Now, if you know someone who is driving from New Jersey into Pennsylvania, it is rough going on the bridges. News 10 over the Ben Franklin tolls, getting slippery as cars roll to a stop. Now we go across the river to Pennsylvania. News 10's Mike Strug is live in Ridley Township, Delaware County. Mike, what's it like? Oh, I can see what it's like out there.
Snowing out here, Larry. We're on Route 420, where it crosses I-95 just south of the airport. Take a look down here. You can see the traffic on I-95 is moving along very well. It's moving slowly. There's some slush on the roads. The salt trucks have been by, but it's still treacherous out here. Even as the first flakes swirled across the Blue Route, PennDOT was standing by.
The last I heard, we were going to be out here till early morning, till after the rush hour.
As the snow began to lay, the salt trucks began cruising 95. Over at the Chester Pike Salt Storage Yard, they have some 500 tons of salt on hand and expect to use plenty of it.
This type of storm, it'll probably be what they call a nuisance storm. You'll use quite a bit of salt because there's very little plowing with this.
But this snowfall is more than simply an inconvenience for motorists.
I think it's fabulous. We need a white Christmas. It's seasonal. I think it's going to put everybody in a better mood. It's been too warm.
Over at the Level 2 Garden Center in Folsom, it's actually helped the Christmas tree business.
The minute the snow hit, the people flocked in for the last-minute Christmas trees like they just had to have it, and maybe they don't want to be too worried about getting out tomorrow.
A little snow adds to the spirit's great.
You don't mind the snow?
Nah, actually it made it fun, so we had to pick a Christmas tree out tonight. It's snowing.
It's been a few years since we had this one. It's great. See a little snow, get your spirit. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, but be careful, particularly if you're driving where the roads haven't been salted yet. Live in Ridley Township, I'm Mike Strug, News 10.
Well, Winter Storm Albert is in the driver's seat up and down the East Coast. Greyhound says all service south of New York City has been suspended for the night. Buses will roll again at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
And we just got this from Metro Traffic on the New Jersey Turnpike from exit 1 to exit 7A. There's a speed restriction of 45 miles per hour and a trailer ban, and the Delaware Memorial Bridge, a speed restriction of 40 miles per hour. So problems on the roads already. Some travel plans on the roads are a mess, and in the air as well. Some cancellations on the board tonight at Philadelphia International Airport. Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz joins us to go over the travel trouble spots. Glenn.
Well, this particular storm, Albert, is not a real intense storm. Nobody's going to get a foot or more, but the wintry weather covers a huge area. Look at this, from Texas all the way across, and it's in the form of ice, freezing rain, the worst type of wintry weather, all the way to the east.
Has built-in micro sensors that react to your body heat. so every part of your body stays as comfortable as the temperature you set.
This blanket with a brain is great.
My toes are warm, left and right.
I've never felt so comfortable.
The blanket with a brain, only from Sunbeam.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Good evening and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Terry Smith. Icy roads, snow, freezing rain, and sleet is creating holiday havoc for folks with travel plans from the south to the mid-Atlantic states. We have a complete update on the nation's weather, plus the forecast. That's coming up in just a moment. But first, let's get a complete update on the winter weather from Dave Schwartz in the Forecast Center.
Okay, Terry, thank you. A complete update is going to take some time because this winter weather spans many, many states from the southwest all the way into southern New England at the present time. The snow is beginning in Connecticut along the coast. Travel trouble spots, a lot of them. Travelers, a lot of them. This is Christmas week, so watch it in the area shaded in purple and pink. To the north of that line, that's your freezing line. That means if you live in Atlanta, you're okay. Birmingham, you're okay. In Jackson, in New Orleans, you're okay. It would just be rain. However, we believe tomorrow night this line will begin to creep a little further south. So some folks who have a wet, foggy day before Christmas Eve may just have a little Santa Claus weather tomorrow night. It's snowing right now in Washington, D.C., and we expect that to continue the rest of the night. Winter storm warning in effect for Philadelphia, and the snow has moved into Long Island and now into Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're expecting several inches of snow. And look at this. Boy, ice and snow from Texas all the way up into the New York City tri-state area. Washington, D.C., our first stop. You had to scrape ice off your car windows in Washington tonight. The area has received a mix of sleet and snow since late this afternoon. A winter storm warning is in effect for the area. Snow and sleet will continue overnight and into the morning, so travel will be difficult. Even the sand trucks had a hard time on the roadways here in Nashville, Tennessee. Much of Middle Tennessee was covered with ice today. The combination of sleet and freezing rain made the drive a nightmare for commuters and travelers. But good news tonight, the winter storm warning has been downgraded to a winter weather advisory as the frozen precipitation is coming to an end between now and the morning. A lot of spinouts. Here in Dallas, drivers are not the only ones who have to worry about the ice. This from the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, where crews were very busy today de-icing planes. Several flights in and out of Dallas-Fort Worth International were canceled, and there are still some delays there tonight. The temperature at the airport is currently 28 degrees, and there are some snow flurries in the area south of town, south of the Thornton Freeway, down I-35 east and west. You're going to encounter some more ice on the roads near Mejia and down toward Corsicana, so please watch it out there. Cold air has just covered the entire country, and now moisture is overrunning that cold dome, and rain, it's actually warmer up there in the clouds, rain is falling into this sub-freezing low-level air mass. That's the ice storm. Let's have a look at those temperatures, and you'll see how far south the freezing line is. Raleigh-Durham at 29, Atlanta at 34, Jackson at 33, Houston at 35, and San Antonio right at the freezing mark. We've had freezing rain here too, and then up into the west, it's a matter of elevation. Even cold over to the coast. Snow beginning tonight in Seattle, of all places. So coast to coast, cold, and there's the moisture overrunning the cold air here in the southeast, and the precipitation is falling where you see green. Now our first stop takes us into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Most of this is not reaching the ground up here north of the Metroplex, but southwest of town we have some light freezing drizzle. So once again, travel south into Hill and Coryell counties on Interstate 35, where we've had some more accidents on the highway. A very tough go, and it looks like some more freezing rain, sleet and snow moving into Fort Worth and the mid-cities here over the next half hour. And that stripe of precipitation crosses Mississippi and Louisiana. What an ice storm we've had here. But the good news for our friends here once again in Nashville, Tennessee, the precipitation is moving out. Most of it will stay off to the south toward Athens and out east into the Appalachian Mountains. The heavy freezing rain is over here in Charlotte, but the ice storm continues because it's drizzling and the temperature is below freezing. Power is still out in parts of northern and western Raleigh, and we've got a ice storm out here in the Roanoke Valley, north and east up toward Washington, D.C., a mixed bag of snow and sleet, and that will continue through tonight. Philadelphia with about 1 inch of snow, and it's snowing as far north now as Bridgeport, Connecticut. So quite a swath of wintry precipitation, and this is going to require some vigilance when you're out on the highway finishing up Christmas shopping or traveling to your destination here tomorrow. Before you leave, make sure you check with us here at the Weather Channel for the very latest forecast for your area, or check out weather.com. You can find 1,600 travel cities worldwide. You can see what kind of weather you can expect when you arrive there. In any event, the Weather Channel is the place to come when you need weather information. Well, Terry Smith has some more information, and some of it is warm. She's got that and Christmas Eve forecast for you right here. Terry?
Well, Dave, I'm afraid to say that the only place we'd find any warm weather today would be down into Central and South Florida. That's the only place where temperatures were running above normal. Everybody else had temperatures below normal this afternoon, particularly here into Texas and parts of the southern plains. It was an especially cold kind of day, 20 to 30 degrees below what we would typically see. We only got up to 28 today in Dallas, and obviously that's not what is the usual temperature for this time of year. Lots of 20s, lots of 30s, even going all the way to the west coast. Some of that Arctic air has worked its way over the mountains into Seattle and also into Portland, and temperatures today only making it up into the 20s, and still in the 20s. We're still about where we were earlier today, a lot of 20s and 30s, but then down below zero in International Falls and also into Denver and also Laramie, Wyoming. So just a very, very cold night, obviously, and it's all thanks to high pressure, which has allowed some very cold Arctic air to settle on in. That is contributing to some of the freezing precipitation we're seeing in the south, but it's also contributing to some of the snow we're seeing downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario. Snow coming off of Lake Ontario here is creating a white night around Watertown, also around Buffalo, a little bit of light snow. We'll see a couple inches of accumulation. And believe it or not, we're also dealing with snow around Seattle as moisture has begun to move on into this region. And it looks like it'll be later in the day tomorrow before we begin to see temperatures warm up enough that we'll begin to see more rainfall. Rain along the coast later in the day, snow in the higher elevations and interior sections. We're really going to be focusing our attention basically from around New York City and Philadelphia and D.C. all the way down toward Atlanta and Dallas. Dallas, it looks like you'll still be dealing with some sleet, some freezing rain during the day, and that'll extend on into Tennessee. Some snow in northern areas of Virginia, including Washington, D.C., some sleet mixed in. So just it's going to be tough driving if you're traveling or if you're just making a trip out to the grocery store, to the mall tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Now, the rainfall will be light, but again, it's the freezing precipitation that's causing the problems. And we're going to